You can't imagine how devastated I was when Emma told me that her uncle had touched her.
I was scared, and I thought my mom would be mad at me.
Of course I wasn't mad at her. I just felt so guilty that I couldn't protect my baby. And I was a little worried too. I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened to me as a little girl. And if I can't get past that, then how in the world am I going to help Emma?
It's sad, but Jessica and Emma's story is all too common. Often, parents' difficulties coming to terms with trauma they experienced get in the way of them being able to help support their child's recovery from trauma.
That's why we here at the University of Missouri St. Louis developed the FLARES model, families learning about recovery strategies. FLARES offers the opportunity to work with the caregiver's traumatic experiences using cognitive processing therapy, and then work with the child using trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy.
In the FLARES model, adult and child clinicians work separately with their clients, but communicate via touch points at crucial times of the therapy. FLARES is designed to help families in which both the parent and the child have experienced a traumatic event. There are many different types of FLARES families. Some FLARES families are like Jessica and Emma. Their traumas are matched, such as when both the parent and the child have experienced sexual abuse. Other FLARES families may have been exposed to a shared trauma, like domestic violence or a natural disaster. Sometimes the family members have discrete trauma histories, in that they have experienced different types of trauma, such as an adult being a rape survivor and a child having been in a serious car accident. Finally, other FLARES families may have experienced a mix of difficult situations. In the FLARES model, we first work with the caregiver. Once they're feeling better and are more confident in their ability to be supportive, we then begin therapy with the child.
When I first learned about FLARES, I didn't know what to expect. They told me I had to go to the clinic.
FLARES can be offered to families in a variety of clinical settings. For instance, the Children's Advocacy Services of Greater St. Louis, where FLARES was developed, is a university-based clinic where the adult and the child can receive counseling in the same building. Other times, FLARES families may see the adult therapist in one agency, while the child may see a therapist in another, with a therapist communicating by phone.
Our center received a grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration to provide the FLARES program to families here in St. Louis. Our clinic worked with the children and provided trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, and we partnered with our sister clinic, the Center for Trauma Recovery, who provided cognitive processing therapy, or CPT, to the adult caregivers.
Clinicians use CPT to help adults recover from post-traumatic stress disorder. This therapy allows individuals to recognize how their strong emotions, as well as their beliefs about the trauma that they experienced, may actually prevent them from getting better.
I was hesitant to start treatment before Emma. I was worried about delaying her therapy.
In the FLARES model, we start CPT with the adult caregiver first, before initiating treatment with the child. In this way, we're able to ensure that the PTSD symptoms are being managed by the caregiver, and that way, they're more able to support their child in treatment.
Lance has been great. He really helped me to understand that for all these years, I've been blaming myself for what happened to me. Once I was able to let that go, I started feeling better. And that's when Emma began her therapy.
I really love working with kids, and when I use trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, I'm able to help them overcome the stressful events that they've experienced. Emma and I work together to develop her trauma narrative, to tell her story.
I like that. It really helped me open up to my mom about what happened to me.
And that's what I love about FLARES. It helps parents feel prepared to hear their children's stories, and it helps children learn about how trauma affects their lives.
Emma is doing great now. I'm so happy to see her acting like herself again.
I'm okay, Mom, and so are you.
Yeah, we're going to be just fine.
I love that it helps heal the entire family, as opposed to placing the sole focus on the child, which can make them feel like they're the problem.
The work with the parent and the child minimizes the chances of the trauma cycle continuing with future generations. It feels like more than a Band-Aid.
When both child and caregiver are involved in sessions, they have a much better chance of success in the future.